Mr. Amit, Toastmaster Amit, who would be giving us a CC1 icebreaker speech. Welcome, Amit. Amit is working in TRS transport team, in the spec team, basically as a system engineering team. So you will be giving your CC1 today. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Pankaj. Hello. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. My name is Amit. This is basically for the new people who have turned up today. I joined the Toastmaster Club of Motorola way back in 2010, and I had completed 4 speeches over there. So there was a request to repeat my icebreaker speech, so that's the reason. In fact, one of my friends was telling that maybe I can just come here and play my old video, but I thought that probably doesn't serve the purpose, so let me just do a repeat of my icebreaker speech. So the topic of my speech is 3. So I am basically going to talk about 3 important incidents of my life which had a big impact on what I am today or how my life has been. So the first incident was when I was about 4.5 years old. My father, who was in his early 30s, he had a major heart attack one fine day, and before even he could be taken to hospital, he passed away. We were 3 brothers and 1 sister, and suddenly it was like how things are going to be after my father is no more. We used to be in a place called Patna, and my father was actually working in State Bank of India at that point of time. So from Patna we moved to another place called Ranchi, which is about overnight journey from there, and my grandfather used to live there, and it was a big joint family with about 15 people, cousins, uncles, all everybody living over there. So a big house with 15 people, but obviously there were a lot of resource constraints and things were difficult, life was tough. My mother got a job in place of my father in State Bank of India. So gradually we guys started settling down and things started to improve, but there was one thing for sure that we have to work hard, we have to make it happen. So this was one incident which had a big impact on my childhood, and obviously things were very difficult during the early years of my childhood. But there were a lot of funny or incidents which were very memorable. So one such incident was, I remember that we had a big almirah in the house, and my mother used to keep the key of the almirah on the top of the almirah. So me and my sister, we used to initially jump and try to get the key. And my sister was about 2 years elder to me, but I was the one who eventually became taller than her and could get the keys without jumping. So small thing, but whenever I think about it, it gives me a lot of happiness. The second incident was that, so 80s was the generation, 70s and 80s was the generation when Amitabh Bachchan was, giving a lot of successful and hit movies. And I was a big fan of Amitabh Bachchan. So when my uncle took me to a barber shop once, he asked me, what kind of hairstyle do you want to have? So I said, I want to have a hairstyle like Amitabh Bachchan. And he told Baba, okay, let's get a, Amitabh Bachchan like hairstyle for Amit. So everybody all the customers who were sitting in the barber shop, along with the barbers, they were giggling and smiling at me. That was the other incident which I remember. So as we started moving and class 9, 10, 7, so maths becomes a little difficult. So I was always among, second, third in my class. But suddenly when the maths started to become a little difficult, I became the class hero, because the guy who used to come first in the class. So I remember there was one exam in which he got the question papers were said to be extremely tough by our maths teacher, and the guy who used to usually come first in the class, he got about 75, 78. And I got in that exam about 98 marks. And from that point of time, I became a hero of the class. And all the guys and all the girls of the class used to approach me and ask me as to how to solve this problem. And suddenly I became very famous among all the female students of the class. So it was more important for me to keep that lead, because not only because to get good marks, but also because there was so much of fan following, which came free and which was even more exciting. So things passed on, and the second big incident which happened in my life was the state engineering exam. I got an extremely good rank of 66, and because of that, I eventually got into NIT Calicut Computer Science. So this was the first time I was coming out of my native place, Ranchi. Before this, it used to be, I used to maximum travel around Jamshedpur, Bokaro and places around Ranchi, but this was the first time I was taking a train journey which was about 48 hours long and going to Calicut from Ranchi. So although my mother was very sad how am I going to manage things and things like that. But I was extremely happy because I got to make new friends, hostel life. This gave me a lot of confidence, and this also gave me a lot of good things to learn, made me independent. So this was the second incident which I wanted to bring up, that which had a big impact on my life. So things passed on, things started to smoothen out, and the next big thing was my job in Lucent Technologies, which happened in the year 1998. So although I did have a job through campus interviews in a company called PC Mindware, but the company was not doing that great. So initially the career wasn't that great. The first big break which I got was in Lucent Technologies, and that time Lucent Technologies was not even Alcatel Lucent, it was just Lucent Technology, and it was considered to be an extremely high profile job. And things changed for good, and career was extremely good beyond that point. Got married in the year 2002. My wife works in FIS, and she's also in IT. I have 2 kids, 1 daughter, 1 son. Daughter is in class 7, son is about 5 years old. Things have been good, and so in the 80s, when I look back, things were extremely tough. So if I look back now, so 3 brothers, 1 sister. So my elder brother is in Perth, he's a mining engineer. Then my sister is also married to a mechanical engineer, third number me, and my brother is also works in IT company. So things look all settled, and that's pretty much I wanted to cover.